Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Big West Women's Volleyball Preview. On screen with me, UCI Hain head coach Ashlie Hain in her 10th season with the Anteaters, but she's a former Anteater, so she's seen plenty of UCI Hain. Ashlie, always wonderful to see you.
You too, Rob.
So, Ashlie, it's always a fun time of the year as we're knocking on the door to get season started here. I wanted to ask you to reflect on 2024. Anteaters finished strong. They were in a lot of really good battles and really in the mix, but there's a huge logjam of talent, and it made for an interesting finish of the 2024 season. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the Anteaters in 2024.
Yeah, I anticipated a really tough competitive conference season because there were a lot of great transfers, some people with grad years. So I thought top to bottom, it was one of the best Big West seasons we had in terms of the level and competitive level each school played at. A lot of long matches for the Anteaters, a lot of 5-setters, a lot of 4-hour matches with those, challenges. So it was definitely a lot of long, grueling matches for us and across the conference. It made for some exciting, great volleyball, some long nights. But I think overall our team really learned to fight through those. I think we're battle tested, or at least the returners are, and they know anything is possible in the Big West.
Well, one thing's for certain, you always have a great group that's ready to go. I know that you lose 3 important pieces for 2025, but you had the spring with some of your current athletes. I'm curious as to what you saw in the gym in the spring and early on here in the fall.
Yeah, a lot of trust has been built with our returners. I know in the era of transfers and the portal, that could be rare. I think, we have a lot of trust built between the coaching staff and the players and among and between the players in our senior group. In the spring, we were really solid, and we had added a Madison triplet from UC Santa Barbara, and she really added to our ball control that was already good with Campbell Jensen back there. Kendra McDonald ended on a high. Her and Nicole Feliciano are our captains going into the fall, and they really earned that through the spring. So just a good feel for the returning group, and I know what they're capable of, so there's some comfort in that.
Now, how about the other competition in the gym with the other athletes? Because you're one of the teams that actually brings back quite a few of the girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, it's a luxury nowadays, is like having a big group of returners, and we've been through a lot together, so there's a lot of experiences to draw on, both good and bad, and we faced a lot of adversity together on and off the court. So again, I think there's like a lot of trust built on this team. And, I'm sure you're going to ask this question, Rob, but going on my 11th season, I'm one of the older coaches in the conference with more experience. And so just knowing what to expect throughout the course of the season, I think is huge.
Now, back to your team and the roster makeup, you have some new pickups. You already mentioned one of them, Maddie, a triplet, but how about some other new faces that we could see competing for positions on the court in 2025 for the Anteaters?
Yeah, so another transfer we have is Sydney Rowe. She's a middle from UC Riverside. She's one of those unique transfers that had the exception of playing at a JC. So she found out very late that she had an additional indoor year. I knew her in the recruiting process for a while from the JC, as well as playing against her at Riverside. I think she had a match where she hit 900 against us. So I know she can be offensive, and I think she'll make an impact in the middle for us, and she knows our program pretty well. Lois Hansen came in. She's a 444 transfer from Santa Barbara to Hawaii to here. She's local, so she's very happy to be close to home. I know she is looking forward to making an impact and being close to home, and just having a different sort of support system around her. So looking forward to her as well.
Ashlie, one of your athletes, you mentioned she works with Team Impact, and I always thought it was one of the coolest programs I've seen in which the athletes reach out to the community. Can you talk about that with our viewers?
Yes, so we've been involved with Team Impact for a few years now. It's a great program. Allie Bolden was chosen to work for Team Impact exclusively, and they couldn't pick a better person. She just has a smile on her face all the time. I told the girls, if you're having a tough day, go see Allie Bolden because she brightens everybody's day. Not to say that she doesn't face her own adversity at times. She just has one of the best attitudes of anyone I've ever coached, and is just a joy to be around. So she's a great representative of the institution, but also for Team Impact. She really connects with people and inspires others just to have a great day. So I'm really lucky to have her to be a part of the program, and I think Team Impact is lucky to have her as well.
With the Big West Conference and the time you've been in, I've got to ask you, what is it you've seen over this decade of experience has been a consistent theme of the Big West?
I always tell the girls, to start the season, you can't underestimate anybody in the Big West. There's always big upsets every year, and it's the team that can be the most consistent throughout the course of the season that's going to end up in the top 3 in conference. And even then in the top 3, there's battles and upsets. And so I don't really look at anything as an upset anymore. It's a challenge, night after night. I said this last year too, I don't think there'll be any undefeated teams in the Big West, just based on the talent top to bottom. I think all the programs have done a great job of putting together competitive lineups, and it's a great volleyball conference.
Well, it seems particularly this season, there are a diverse makeup of teams. There are teams that are young. They went through some bumps last year. They're going into their second years, or there's a bunch of transfers and the team is new, or they're coming back with, basically a rebuilt lineup. UC Irvine is kind of the in-betweener there. What do you specifically look to see or are expecting to see here in 2025 with that diverse makeup?
Yeah, I see. I think, programs, they don't change, the personnel changes. So I think there's going to be a lot more homework done on just the personnel and those tendencies. It's funny, the coaching staffs have changed over the course of that time a lot. The program and their themes in terms of volleyball, they have really kind of stayed consistent. And there's some patterns that have been brought over from different coaching staffs. And things that they're known for. So I see some things that'll be similar, but with the personnel changing, sometimes that changes some systems. So it'll just be, I think, really interesting to see what everybody does with the new people they have.
Right. Now, Ashlie, I've got to ask you, what are you most excited about as this 2025 season is knocking on the door, so to speak?
I'm excited about winning 3 in 3 sets. I'm really excited about sweeping teams. We've had a lot of long matches. I think I might hold a record, Rob. You might need to look that up for 5 setters in over 2 seasons. But I hope the trust we've built carries us through some of the longer matches. I think having a solid returning group is huge. Just in terms of consistency and weathering the storms, we're going to have our own share, and just having some leadership that'll get us through that.
Right. Ashlie, one of the other questions I wanted to ask you is your thoughts on the direction of the Big West and expansion, especially with the addition of Sacramento State, CBU, and Utah Valley.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Again, I think those programs have done well in recent times. It's going to add to the, battles, especially in the middle range of the conference. I think that just is going to make it that much tougher. But I think the volleyball level is going to remain high, and there's going to be a lot of long battles amongst those teams. And I think the conference tournament will probably need to be adjusted and changed, as well as scheduling. So we don't know what that will be like yet, but there'll definitely be adjustments in the scheduling as well, which will affect the overall season.
Well, with that, one final question for you. Now, it's always the one the coaches seem to be hesitant to answer, and I get it. But it's what is your only the bold Big West prediction here in 2025?
Oh, well, I'll say this with certainty. I don't think any team will go undefeated in conference. So I think there's going to be a lot of long battles. And I really don't look at them as upsets anymore. I think there's just going to be a lot of long battles, and nobody's going to get out of conference without a loss.
Excellent. That's Ashlie Hain, head coach of the UC Irvine Anteaters. Looking forward to catching you, Ashlie. Thank you for
Rob.
this afternoon.
Go Eaters.